The U.S. stands as the top country in the world. There's really no need to provide evidence to support this claim. But how did the U.S., among hundreds of countries on this planet, emerge as the sole superpower? After all, it was largely built by people who migrated from Britain, and not necessarily the elite or highly skilled. A significant factor in America's dominance is its natural geographical advantages, which many other countries lack. The investment guru, Warren Buffett, once said, "Invest in business that are so wonderful that an idiot can run them." To put it a bit dramatically, America's land is so blessed that it could become a superpower even if it were run by fools. What geographic blessings does the U.S. possess? Let's take a look at the major milestones in America's rise to dominance up until World War I. After 8 grueling years of war, America finally achieved independence in 1783. At that time, it was nowhere near the powerhouses of Europe. The U.S. was mainly concentrated along the East Coast, with a population of just under 4 million. Yet in less than a century, the nation expanded from the Atlantic to the Pacific and its population surged over 30 million. This dramatic change wasn't mere coincidence. A pivotal moment came in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase, a masterstroke in American history. The U.S. expanded its territories primarily in 2 ways. They bought land from powerful nations and took land from weaker entities, like the Native Americans or Mexico, often by force. Originally owned by France, Louisiana was named after the famous King Louis XIV, whose motto was, "I am the state." You might mistakenly think of Louisiana as just the southern state known for New Orleans, the city of jazz. However, back then, Louisiana wasn't just the present-day state, but a vast tract of land encompassing parts of current-day Montana, Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and more. Initially, the U.S. aimed to buy just the New Orleans area. To fully utilize the Mississippi River, they needed control over this port city located at the river's end. The port, touching the Gulf of Mexico, was essential for transporting grains to the East Coast cities and for exports to Europe. But Napoleon, busy with wars all over Europe and needing funds, made an unexpected offer. Given the cost of his wars and the risk of Britain seizing Louisiana, Napoleon thought it better to sell it to the U.S., even at a bargain price. It seemed as if the stars were aligning in favor of the U.S. The cost for the vast territory on the other side of the Mississippi, a mere $15 million. How much would that be today? While an exact figure is tricky, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics inflation calculator, $15 million then is roughly equivalent to $350 million today. Considering the total size of Louisiana was about 828,000 square miles, in American terms, the U.S. essentially bought it for just under a penny per acre. The reason why the Louisiana Purchase was so significant for the U.S., despite its seemingly ridiculous price, is that it laid a foundational groundwork for America to become a global superpower. Firstly, this purchase doubled America's size overnight. This not only gave the U.S. ample space for immigrants, but also offered incredibly fertile lands. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Soils of the World survey, the U.S. possesses some of the most fertile lands globally. Half of the world's highest quality soil, where you can simply sow seeds and watch crops grow without any additional effort, is located in the U.S., specifically in the purchased Louisiana territory. Additionally, a significant portion of Louisiana lands fall within the top 3 soil quality ranks. Thanks to this fertile land, the U.S. was able to become self-sufficient and eventually the world's largest agricultural exporter. But fertile land alone wouldn't have made the U.S. a global leader. Other countries, such as Ukraine, France, and Argentina, also have fertile lands. According to the geopolitical strategist Peter Zeihan's book, The Accidental Superpower, the fertile lands in the U.S. have a unique advantage, an intricate network of rivers. The U.S. boasts the world's most extended river system, with over 15,000 miles of navigable rivers, including the famous Mississippi. This is 7 times longer than China's river system, even though they have similar land areas. Most of these rivers are navigable, making transportation by boat easy. Furthermore, along the eastern U.S., a series of islands runs parallel to the coastline. These islands create safe navigation channels for smaller vessels, acting as natural barriers, and providing extra safety to coastal cities from natural disasters. So, why are these waterways so crucial? Because they've always been the lifeblood of commerce and civilization. Throughout history, humans have thrived around navigable, calm rivers, especially when roads were non-existent or underdeveloped. These rivers allowed the U.S. to harness incredible synergy with its fertile lands. Crops harvested from Louisiana were easily shipped to major cities through the Mississippi and its tributaries and coastal waterways. Industrial goods from the cities were similarly transported. Moreover, waterway transportation is 14 times cheaper than land, which naturally lowers the cost of goods, stimulating consumption throughout the U.S. This booming domestic market is one of the reasons the U.S. remained robust, despite trade deficits over the years. The U.S. has never seen trade exceed 15% of its GDP, ensuring that most trade deficits don't significantly impact its economy. In addition to these economic benefits, the extensive network of waterways provided the U.S. with an essential side effect. For a vast country like the U.S., with a diverse immigrant population, fostering a unified national identity is challenging. However, the waterways facilitated not just economic, but also socio-cultural and political exchanges, enabling the U.S. to foster a sense of unity more easily. Naturally, the costs associated with building infrastructure like roads, railways, and ports were also significantly reduced. From its inception, America was quickly able to amass a significant amount of wealth. Using this money, the U.S. bought Florida from Spain for $5 million, securing the Gulf of Mexico, which was a key route to Europe. Yet there was still something unsettling for America. The strategic port of New Orleans was dangerously close to Mexico. So in 1845, the U.S. annexed the Republic of Texas, which had briefly been independent from Mexico. This led to a war with Mexico. As a result, the U.S. seized the opportunity and took California, stretching its territories from the Atlantic to the Pacific. With this, America had all the geographical advantages to become a superpower. So, what benefits did America reap from this? Firstly, America gained critical natural barriers against potential invasions from Canada and Mexico. The rugged mountains and forests to the north and the deserts and highlands to the south made land invasions incredibly challenging. Secondly, America had no real competitors on the continent. Neighboring Canada had a harsh climate, while Mexico, with its mountainous terrain and lack of navigable rivers, faced distinct developmental challenges. Without threats from neighboring nations, the U.S. could rise to power more rapidly. Thirdly, the U.S. had the immense natural barriers of the Atlantic to the east and the Pacific to the west. While this made it harder for any country to invade America, it also meant that with populous coasts on both sides, the U.S. could easily engage with both Europe and Asia. Fourthly, the lands that America acquired were rich in resources. Oil, natural gas, iron, gold, and coal poured out from these territories, bolstering the nation's growth. As a result, the U.S. is one of the few countries in the world that's largely self-sufficient in resources. Thanks to these geographical blessings, by the late 1800s, America was already the world's leading economic power. When World War I saw the potential European competitors fall, America, reaping the benefits of war, rose to unmatched superpower status. Of course, geography alone doesn't make a country a superpower. America's success can also be attributed to its exceptional early leaders and the dedicated efforts of its diverse immigrant population. But if the U.S. hadn't lucked out with such resource-rich lands, almost like hitting the lottery in terms of global geography, achieving today's dominant position would have undoubtedly been more challenging.